Hello traders, welcome back. So today we're going to be putting things in perspective again, this time with ticker symbol CLOV, Clover Health, a ticker that has been exploding these last few days. I'm sure you guys are all aware why. It is a meme ticker with a high short interest. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I do want to be comparing two competitors today to help put things in perspective a little bit. And then I want to talk about what is next for CLOV, like how high can this ticker even go? And then I want to finish up here with two SPACs I've been accumulating these last few weeks. So all that ahead, let's go ahead and switch over to the trading screen and remove the disclaimer. And actually today, I think my face is going to be in the way a little bit, so I might go ahead and remove that every now and then. Anyway, this is CLOV right now. No, that's actually not true. Fake news. Let's go ahead and refresh this. This is CLOV right now. It's like something doesn't look right. So I haven't refreshed this one in a while. But you know, when we were on the live stream today, we were going through some trending news, and there was right out of the gates a lot of topics here on meme stocks. And you know, when we were trading today on the stream, I instantly was like, okay, guys, you know, we're small cap traders. You know, we love trading small cap momentum. And I was like, forget it. Today's just not a small cap day. Today, meme stocks are taking over, and leading the pack is CLOV. And that's why I want to really be focusing on what's going on with this ticker. And to give us a little bit more perspective here, we have quiverquant.com, where oftentimes or not oftentimes, they track many different trends. And one of the trends they track is Wall Street bets and what is being mentioned a lot. And here you can see CLOV leading the pack, and then BlackBerry right behind it, CLNE, AMC. I mean, all the tickers that we see again and again. So right now, CLOV is being mentioned the most right here, over 1,500 times. And another thing I want to mention that we do talk about from time to time on this channel is this highshortinterest.com site, which we fully reviewed a few videos back. Anyway, though, CLOV being listed here as the second highest short interest ticker on NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, and then here 42% with Workhorse. Of course, this information is always delayed. CLOV listed on the NASDAQ usually comes out bi-monthly, so twice a month on their short interest reports, while the the New York Stock Exchange usually comes out at the end of the month, so once a month. So those are the two reasons why CLOV is making a lot of headlines today. Plus, you got kind of these fun little posts here on Wall Street Bets as well. This guy's kind of, you know, doing a little bit of a flex here with a huge position in CLOV, up really nicely today. Very well diversified in the portfolio, but you know, diversification, even Warren Buffett doesn't believe in diversification. He says if he could only own 3 stocks, he would, because you know, if you just know one company very well, that's sometimes all you need. That's a whole different topic to be talking about. Anyway, to help us kind of put things in perspective, I decided to basically, you know, figure out where CLOV is lying with some of its competitors. So one of the biggest competitors for CLOV is Oscar Health right here. And Oscar Health actually has a very similar market cap. Now, right now, the market cap of CLOV is, I think it's north of 7 billion. It's changing like every minute, so it's not really worth talking about. But let's just say it's hovering around 5 billion on the lower spectrum of the day, maybe closer to 6 billion, honestly. So, okay, these two are very similar, and we could go dive into, you know, different reports on them, but here's a nice little article on Stock News that kind of compares these two companies, which is a better buy. I'll just really simply break it down for you. You guys can obviously read this on your own time. Basically, the case for Oscar is that they are a little bit more of a SaaS platform that kind of figured out how to give the best value. They're not losing as much money as Oscar, and they are growing while Oscar actually did not grow so much. They actually shrank a little bit the last year. So when you scroll all the way down here, their final takeaway for both these companies are Clover, significantly lower valuation, narrowing losses, robust top line growth, make me believe that it's a better stock to invest in the Oscar at this time. Now, this was granted, this was written March 12th, so you have to come back here And then you realize, okay, March 12th, yeah, CLOV Health was pretty depreciated at the time. So I don't think that this author would feel the same way about this analysis anymore, per se. I don't know. I can't say what he thinks, but at the same time, yeah, it's probably a safe assessment. So here is Oscar Health. Also kind of trailing in a nice little rally here, coming towards a little bit bigger resistance. Doesn't have a short float nearly as much as Clover Health with a 36% short float, but at the same time, the short ratio is fairly high actually on this one, so that's kind of impressive. That's typically how many days it takes for shorts to cover all their positions. Because Oscar has much less volume, so it would take a little bit longer to cover your positions if you had really, really big positions. Another ticker I want to talk about here, so let's go back to the analysis. CLOV. Let's talk about a little bit of a bigger company, and that is CENTENE, Centene Corporation right here. This one's about $42 billion. So before Clover had its big rally today, you could say if Clover 10x'd, it would be the same size here as CNC. So let's go ahead and see what some articles were about CNC and kind of how it compared these two companies. So here's an example: Clover versus CNT. Which health care plan stock is a better buy? So let's go through a few things here. I want to read this sentence because this puts things in scope a little bit here, a bit better. So feel free to ×2 speed this one. The healthcare sector has been a long-term outperformer as the healthcare sector takes an increasing share of the economy. This is due to costs rising faster than the pace of inflation, as well as demand increases due to aging population. I mean, these are things we talk about all the time in the news. Healthcare costs, if you're American, you probably know how high they are in the US. Further, the improving labor market is another catalyst, as it tends to mean more customers. However, there's considerable competition in this space, especially as new healthcare tech companies are attempting to disrupt the space by offering services and products that threaten legacy companies. So you could kind of think as CNC, Centene here as kind of the legacy company, and then Clover, the hot IPO SPAC that Chamath was behind, kind of being that disruptor company. But if you come through here a little bit, I want to do a few highlights here for CNC. CNC's value offering is services provided to healthcare programs sponsored by the federal government. So they got some really big deals here with the federal government. They have 24 million members. I think Oscar has around 5 million. I'm not totally sure on CLOV, but I'm sure we can get a number fairly quickly here. But I think it's around Oscar's size. And then let's come back. So yeah, much bigger here. Also multinational, that's a big thing, while Oscar and CLOV are not. But just to kind of speed things along here, which is a better buy? This site here, and this author says the choice is clear. CNC has a B power rating, while CLOV has a D power rating grade. Investors should not qualms adding CNC to their portfolio. Have no qualms. That's an interesting way to put it. Adding this ticker to their portfolio. And I guess that totally makes sense. I think CLOV was a little bit more of a high risk, while here CNC has a low beta. So it's kind of like, for the average investor, probably a better investment. Let's scroll up here. Also, you see their sales are healthy, increasing, while Oscar, for example, has decreasing sales. Clover, very, very new company. It's a little bit harder to get a proper analysis on it. There's so many pending lawsuits on this company too, because they were not, or people claim that they were not sharing proper information with shareholders. So there's a lot of red flags in the CLOV, and that's why it's so heavily shorted. So that's kind of puts things in perspective a little bit. So we have Oscar, which is roughly the same size, and CNC, which is about 10x of CLOV. So let's say, actually, let's probably the best thing to do is go to the stock chart here for CLOV and see kind of what's next. Well, first off, CLOV ripped through some big resistance here, all-time highs. I think it was like at 18 something. Let me go here to the 4-hour, scroll back here. No, just, yeah, 18, yeah, that's where I remember. 18.4 or something like that was all-time highs on CLOV. Let's come back here. It was listed so nicely before CLOV broke through it. Anywho, Huge pre-market action we had on this one. Actually, it was really nice. We were trading pre-market action here on the unlimited account. You guys can see the whole live stream on this one. But in a nutshell, when CLOV was breaking higher, oh, sorry, I can't get to the right spot. We were trading the front side on this one. And once it started consolidating, we were no longer trading this ticker. I did, think about trading it out of the gates, but CLOV is not a typical go-to stock for me to be day trading. So after pre-market, I pretty much stopped trading this one altogether. This is a stock we were swing trading, but that's a little bit of a different strategy overall. Anyway, high here at 24.93, and it's kind of been selling off ever since then. This was an explosive move here, 23, 24, 25% in one move. But yeah, so right now the market cap is roughly around 7.7, so close to 8. So it's already kind of gone up a few X. If we're gonna be back here at 10, this is roughly the point where you could say the market cap was closer to 4, 5 million, a billion, and then it could have went 10x to be close to Centini size. So right now it's well on its way. And the question is, in this area, if it 10x to get to Centini size, it would actually be around $100 CLOV. Now that would be very fast growth, and I don't think it's going to be there overnight. So the fact that right now it's about a fourth of the size of Centini makes it feel a little bit overvalued. And I would also be a little bit nervous if CLOV was going to start trying to come out with offerings or something like that, trying to get a little bit more cash reserves, because these companies, the more cash they have, the more they can grow, the more they can put into marketing, the more they can beat their competitors like Oscar. So I think it would be probably a smart idea for them to even raise more capital. But, that wouldn't be so great for investors, so we'll see what happens. Let me go back to the 5-minute here, talk about this one. So we have huge support right now at this former high that we broke out of. We're actually closer to 18. So roughly here was that last all-time high on this ticker. So we came back to this zone, had a really nice, perfect technical analysis bounce off of this one, found support, former resistance, new support. So you can see here, this actually was a little bit of resistance. We bounced back above it, became support again, and now we're about 6% up off of this one. So for now, we have huge support, roughly between $15 and $18. If we get in these areas, they could be short-term, really good buy zones. However, if we get below these areas, let's say we have a big sell-off here all the way down, these will become new resistance zones. So those are this is how I would treat this kind of scary zone here between $15 and $18. If we hold above this, let's say make a little bit of a gun pattern here into the close, I mean, that's like overly simplified, then there's a good chance we can continue having a squeeze from there. Otherwise, I would be scared if this area would become big time resistance. For me personally, I don't think I'm going to be touching this ticker, except maybe tomorrow morning. If it keeps trending upwards, I'll be probably day trading it to the front side. Maybe we'll see some sort of afternoon rally, but for now, I don't know, fingers off a little bit. And I guess what we could be hoping for as an investor or a swing trader or anyone who's long is this ticker maybe going to that extra 4x, 5x, going above $100, getting in the same price as Centini, which in my opinion would be totally overvalued, and I would be taking profits. But that would be like my max upside I would see on CLOV. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on that. Do I really think it's going to happen? Very unlikely, but it could happen. I mean, this is a crazy market, and you just, I'm fairly pessimistic always what I'm seeing on, GME and AMC. I'm barely ever touching them, but they just keep flying up. But, it's not really my cup of tea, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Now, really quickly here, I want to wrap up with talking about 2 swing trades that I am actually quite excited for. Let's just go here. The first one, SFTW, Osprey Tech. I'm not going to go in super much detail. If you guys want me to dive into more detail about these companies, leave a comment below, or just Google or search the channel. I think we've talked about both of them several times. Anyway, Osprey Tech finding huge support here, coming out with a catalyst today saying everything is still looking good all along as planned. It's up slightly today, but this one's really lacking volume. But I think if this could gain any sort of momentum, we can fly over 11, have some really good upside here. I'm not sure how much downside would come here. Obviously, if this SPAC merger got canceled, it would probably dump below 10 very, very quickly, but I don't really see that happening because of the last catalyst. So I'm quite bullish on Osprey Tech here. Second ticker, VIH, which I must say I've been accumulating for a long time now. It's been the ultimate snoozer. Originally, I was buying this one below 14 in these areas. Then it had this huge dump, and then I've been accumulating here in the 10s, 1050 most of the time. So we'll see. This is backed a large, kind of more custodial cryptocurrency wallet and platform for more or less institutions to put their cryptocurrency, and their focus is safety. So I think VIH could explode. Right now, it's the big question of, is there going to get eventually a little bit of the momentum spotlight on these two SPACs? But lately, we've been seeing a little bit of a SPAC revival. I mean, CLOV used to be a SPAC. Space used to be a SPAC. Space, SPCE, Virgin Galactic. So we're seeing a little bit more of a revival coming into the space. So I'm pretty bullish. These two would be they are my picks. I am accumulating both of them. So I would love to hear your thoughts on, VIH, SFTW, and then of course our beauty today, CLOV. So let me know, guys. What do you think about these tickers? What are your price targets? Are you long on these tickers? I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this content interesting, don't forget to drop the like on the way out. It's the easiest way to support the channel. And I will see you guys first thing for tomorrow's stream. Yeah, so like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao, guys.